quick disclaimer before the video begins. This is a time-consuming process. It is more time-consuming than just regularly oiling your chain. This was a fun process for me, but overall it took about 2 hours. So if you consider doing this, just make sure you have some free time on your hands. Enjoy the video. Hey, how's it going, everyone? GC Performance here, back with another video, and today we're taking looks at how to go ahead and wax your own bike chain. We have not done this in a while, but I went ahead and picked up my very own crock pot that you can pretty much buy wherever. This one's off Amazon for $35. And then we went ahead and rebranded it, paid for copyright claims. But there are some simple steps we have to do to get it prepped for this stage. So I will go over the whole process. We have our degreaser, and then we're gonna be waxing today with Absolute Black graphene wax. They make a really nice wax in here, and also the benefits of this being is that you can actually use the bag for the cleaning part. So we're gonna dump the chain inside here with the mineral spirits as well. But basically it's just a brick of some wax, which looks really cool. Aesthetically looks really nice. I'll show you guys the whole process of it. We also have a little chain hook to go ahead and dump it into the crock pot, and then a little brush if you want to go ahead and clean out the inside of the links. So basically this is what our chain looks like right now. I only have one ride on it. This is a different bike, which I'll get into in a second. But we have our chain, which I'm gonna have to go ahead and clean. And then while the chain's off, I'm gonna go ahead and clean the cassette as well and kind of give the crank quick drivetrain clean as well. So give me 1 second and we'll go outside. All right, so the process is mineral spirits, which I bought at my normal department store, like a hardware store. Basically, it cleans up stuff really, really well. And I've always been taught to do this as well. After I do the cleaning inside the bag and I use this, it's a very, very strong material. So I'm gonna use alcohol afterwards to go ahead and clean off the chain to get ready for the wax. But we're gonna put the chain inside the bag. We're gonna open up our mineral spirits like this. We're gonna be very careful with opening. Oh yeah. Oh, it's got like a white shit on there. Thin's oil-based paints. Let's go. Okay, so now we're gonna let this sit for about 30 to 40 minutes. So in the meantime, while that chain goes ahead to sit inside the solution to go ahead and degrease and get prepped for the waxing, I'm going to plug in my crock pot and just put on low because I want to get it ready. So that way, as soon as it's done, I won't put the waxing yet, but I just want to get it kind of warm. And then when we go ahead and put the waxing, I'm gonna put it on high. But you guys will probably ask yourself, why go ahead and wax your chain? I'm gonna tell you guys. So benefit to waxing your chain instead of using your traditional grease or oil or lube that you usually use. One, longevity of the chain. Because it's going to be a coat of wax over the chain, there's not going to be much wear and tear on the actual rollers or the internals of the chain itself. So it's going to have a better longevity. Two, which is probably why majority of you guys will probably doing it, is because of the fact of cleanliness. You're not going to get as much wax spots or splatter from like a grease or lube. The chain will be much more drier, cleaner, and it can run the course of being used for longer periods of time before having to re-wax it or so on and so forth. And then once you want to go ahead and degrease it, instead of having like a nasty dunk tank or a nasty crazy degreaser, you can go ahead and just take that chain that you already waxed, dump some boiling hot water on there, and then go ahead and reapply the greasing process again, because that chain is already cleaned and it's good to go. So I'm gonna clean this bike off as well, clean out the cassette, because when you do the waxing of the chain, you kind of want to have everything stripped away from the cassette as well. And then yeah, we'll wait for this chain to go ahead and get set. This has nothing to do with the video, but this is a ceramic steel bottom bracket that's fucking hot, super hot. Spin test for y'all. Oh my god, that should be buff. So as we can see, this is my cassette. This is after only one ride too. I mean, again, this is pretty. I know this is not showing you guys really any visuals, but this is just after one ride on the cassette. But I want to go ahead and just get off this factory stuff. There's a little bit of gunk on there, a little bit of dirt. Just clean it up so that way the chain has a nice, fresh kind of setup for this cassette. Also, with the waxing on there too, there's less friction, and actually the chain is supposed to give you better wattage or save you more watts on it. Okay. So with a waxing type lubricant, or with a waxing to your chain, Not only is it supposed to be more cleanliness, better longevity, but it's supposed to also give you more speed and save you more watts as well. All right, it's been about 30 minutes. So I'll have the chain sit inside the bag with the mineral spirits. I want to say that this is probably not the exact one you should get. Get like a clear one or maybe a stronger adhesive. I think this one's like an eco-friendly one. So it's in like this white powder, but usually all the videos that people have seen, it comes with clear and it's probably stronger. I'm gonna make this work regardless because I'm gonna examine the chain, see what it took off, but I have degreaser in here and stuff like that. Back in the day, shoot, I used to watch my brother all the time. He used to have a frying pan and just basically put it in a dunk tank and then strip it apart there. Frying pans now, they're messier, so I don't recommend it, but you can do it on like a hot stove or a cooktop, something like that. We're gonna go ahead and take this out of the chain. I'm gonna see, and we're gonna wash this little bitch off. That's what the chain looks like. Now this is not the wax, this is just the stuff to strip off the factory lube. Like I feel it, it's not as, before it was very sticky, textury. This feels almost completely stripped. So let me go ahead and wash this thing off real quick, and then we'll take a look at it. Okay, look at it. So this is perfect. The solution did exactly what I wanted it to. There's no more oil, no more slick on here. The chain is clean to the touch, but it feels like a perfectly brand new chain on there. So it feels very nice. I just sprayed it down with some alcohol as well to kind of go ahead, and I want to get rid of whatever residue was left over on that chain. Let's say like the clean solution, just for my safe things. But yeah, so this thing's completely stripped. Now, time to put the chain inside a crock pot. So we got our crock pot set up. I put on high heat right now. I have my absolute black, I have my block of wax I'm gonna throw in there to get it going. And I have my chain on like a spoke. You can get it kind of like a clothes hanger if you don't have one, or you can go to your local bike shop and get just like a spoke for a wheel. I just have it laced through there so that way when the chain is submerged, I can go ahead and shake it up to make sure that all the pieces are getting hit. You don't want to just let it submerge and just let it sit there. You kind of want to shake it around to make sure you see some bubbles pop out. You want to get these moving around so that way every piece of this chain gets lubed up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to drop the wax in there. All right, here we go. Oh, okay, it's already getting wet. I mean, that's all right. It's melting. All right, so we're gonna let this thing go around. And the best thing about making a crock pot specifically for this type of thing is that my wife's not gonna be mad at me, and I can reuse this wax after it melts. So we're gonna let this stuff go. But yeah, we want this chunk to get thick. All right, so I went ahead and put in all four of them because I'm gonna reuse this anyways. And I realized that one of these was not enough for the chain. So we're gonna put in all four of these sons of biscuits, and we'll be back once it's there. So we have the wax is all melted down, as you guys can see right here. So we're going to go ahead and submerge our whole chain into the wax like this. And again, I'm going to keep it on the wire so I can kind of move it around and swish it around as much as I want to. Let's see if we can get it like that. Get one more piece in there. Like that. Ah, screw it. I'll fish out later on, guys. We're just gonna put it just like this. Boom, covered up. Let it submerge for a little bit, and we'll be back. Yeah, we just want to move it around to make sure that everything on the internals of this thing is getting coated. Then we let it sit again. Now we put the top back on the cooker. Don't forget the bev. Okay, so now I'm removing the chain out of the wax. I'm gonna put it into this cardboard box over here, and then we're gonna take it outside to hang. All right, luckily I work in a bike shop, so I have a chain link fence outside I can let this thing hang from. But at your house, you're gonna wanna find something that you don't care about letting drip on and get some spillage or whatever. Also, be careful. Your chain's gonna be kind of hot taking out of the cooker. So I got a rag here, because this thing is scalding hot. I wanna just make sure it hangs evenly. Put it over here, like this, like this. Now this is burning hot. Okay, we're good, and that's it. I'm gonna let her hang like that. We'll come back and check in a little bit. So as this kind of dries and hangs out here, I kind of want to talk about why I chose the Absolute Black waxing over other ones. You can buy home product waxings. There's other companies out there that do a waxing as well. But one thing that people always say about waxing chains, the downfall to them is that they're a little bit more noisier because there's not like a lube or oil on there to make it sound like it's like nice and quiet. So the graphene lube or the Absolute Black lube, they say, I'm gonna test it out, that it's much quieter than other solutions out there for waxing and stuff like that. So that's a big plus because we do ride on completely like flat water places, or I'm sorry, flat roads with not a lot of traffic going on there. So I want still a somewhat quiet bike. And the lifespan of this waxing, they'll say that on like a nice dry condition, you can get about 290 to 300 miles until they want you to re-wax it. Now I'm gonna try and push that as far as I can, and I'll be making sure to check every once in a while, but you just wanna make sure that you're watching it. And they said that you can also add their own graphene lube on top of here. And what the re-waxing will be, the process would be taking this chain, putting it into a strainer, and pouring boiling hot water over it to remove all the dust, grime, and grit on there. But that's about it. I mean, literally once you do that, then you just dump it back into the re-wax and you go from there. I already have the crock pot again. Once you do it one time, you pretty much have it set up. But then you shouldn't have to worry about as much, and the process is pretty easy. The first part that gets pretty dirty is just degreasing the chain, degreasing the bike. But after that, the bike is pretty much set up to be re-waxed again. So just a little quick heads up for you guys. So the chain has been sitting, the wax is finally cooled. What I'm gonna do now is I'm going to go ahead and take each link and move it back and forth. And one thing that they'll say as well is that you don't have to, it doesn't get as corrosive, or I'm sorry, as stuck as like a normal wax would, but they want you to just go to every single link and kind of move it back and forth like this to break that wax seal. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll clean off, I'll show you guys the aftermath of it. And now what you would do with your brush is take it and clear off all the excess inside of here, like your wire brush. Just kind of push the word on it. You can get a toothbrush, whatever, and just go ahead and get all the excess stuff in between there for your teeth. Go nice and down in there. And that's just pushing out all the gunk that's inside there. So this is the finished product, guys. Chain is fully waxed. The cassette is clean. I have a little bit of excess on there that I left on there from the chain waxing. It's not obviously up to the exact standard on there, but here comes the shifting test. It's actually very quiet for a wax chain. Before I've heard it, I've heard ones before that literally sound like metal on metal because of the fact of that, but this stuff is actually very nice. And they say that if you want it even quieter, you can buy their own graphene lube to pair it with the graphene wax and kind of sprinkle a little bit on there because the chain's already coated in the wax. It won't affect the chain itself. It'll just be on top of the coating of the wax to kind of nullify that noise a little bit. But I'm very impressed with it. So with the cleaner drivetrain, less friction. So right now as is, all I have is just a ceramic speed bottom bracket in here. And that's with no pulley on it right now. Not saying your bike's gonna do that exact same thing, but no pulley, wax chain, ceramic speed bottom bracket kind of thing. The bearings and the wheels are ceramic speed though, but I'm very happy with that. I'm gonna do a couple rides with it. I'll let you guys know how it feels later on down the road, but the chain looks phenomenal. Very easy cleaning. Thank you guys again so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'll see you guys next video.